heck this is going to be. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We back for another rousing rendition of the Warhammered podcast.
The Warhammered podcast.
Yeah. Brought to you by BattlePub Games and all of these pretty faces. What?
It's a Warhammer.
This is the Warhammered podcast. I'm Jazz. That's Ozzy.
Hi.
That's Katelyn.
What's up?
So we talk about two things here: booze
Hell yeah, brother.
and nerd stuff. A lot of Warhammer, but nerd stuff in general at a
Wave top level.
so we're gonna be wrong a lot because we make most of this up.
Except for tonight.
Except for tonight, Caitlin's feeling confident
I
about
feel good.
tonight.
After a
it.
couple drinks of what we just had, I'm feeling real good.
We did some pre-gaming on this one.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Weather dropped in Texas, so
Oh, finally.
Got a little
cold.
chilly here.
Yeah. Tell you what, I
Uh,
stepped outside this morning and was like, thank God I can put on the jacket. I don't have to die in the hangar.
Yep. So
Speaking
it's
of pre-gaming, though, what did we pre-game on?
well, we're gonna get to that. I just want to make sure that we get any of the other need to talk about it stuff out of the way.
the
which
heebie-jeebies.
The
the
heebie-jeebies,
heebie-jeebies.
Were you informed on the heebie-jeebies?
What? No.
Oh.
What's the heebie-jeebies?
So we were playing Space Marine the other night.
Oh,
And,
this is like a real thing.
Yeah,
I just
we were
chose
playing Space Marine the other
heebie-jeebies
night,
on chance.
and
Oh, no.
so it was Oz, myself, and our buddy Brian, and so we're playing Space Marine, and Brian found the gene seed.
Yeah.
And he tried to say,
Globulus.
"Brother, I found the globulus," but he couldn't get globulus out.
It's like global.
The globul, the gabagool. He was like, "I don't have a
cool.
And he was like, I don't. He's like, I can't believe how tongue tied I am. And he was like, the Jeebus or whatever. And we were like,
The Jeebus.
the heebie jeebies. And he was like,
I came out of the Marine. The heebie-jeebies, brother.
so
The Carpaccio.
and he's got the heebulus jeebulus.
And so from that,
Carefully, if you say it 3 times, we'll show up.
From then on, it was called the heebie.
It was the heebie jeebies for the rest of the night. So it was,
Brother, I found the heebie-jeebies.
I had the heebiest of jeebies.
Yeah.
I can feel it in my jellies.
So, anyways, we got the new format pushed out. Episode 1 went out, and I just want to say thank you, huge thank you. I cannot believe the welcome back that we got, the comments and stuff that we
That was
got
insane.
off the rip. It was great to hear from everybody.
Just the amount of emails we got, like literally yesterday, emails, private messages, DMs, everything was like, when are you going
super
back?
excited
The
that
universe speaks.
Yeah, and then the show went back, and so there's comments all on the show, and there's all that kind of stuff. So, thank you guys. It was quite awesome to see all of that.
We're loved. I like it.
But those 12 dedicated, like I said in the last one. So anyways, we're going to try to get back to kind of a pace here. We're going to try and get back to what Warhammered was doing, which was actual lore discussions and nerd news. That first episode, obviously, we wanted to let everybody know where we've been, introduce some of the new hosts, let everybody see the new set and all that kind of stuff. But now it's time, God damn it, back to business. So we have been doing some formulating.
Formulating.
Some
Mathematicals.
some palavering in the background
Some heebie-jeebian.
to try and come up with a thing that kept the spirit of Warhammered, but actually gave us a reason to talk to you people. So why are you laughing at
I
me?
don't know.
Her flappers are gassed.
My flappers are gasted.
Since Beer Jim is not here and we don't have
He's not dead.
he's not dead, he's just very busy. But we don't have Beer's Jim Corner.
Jim's Beer Corner.
I did it. I said it.
Beer
I
Jim
said it
Corner?
again.
Yes, Beer's Jim Corner.
Jim's Beer Corner. Apparently I said it that way
Jim's
on the
Beer
first
Corner.
episode. I never
like
caught it.
Beer's Jim Corner.
Beer's Jim Corner.
Because I need that image of just the corner of Jim.
Still thinking about you, Jim.
space.
He texted me a little bit ago. Anyways, we have decided that what we're going to do is that we are going to tell you Warhammer lore to the worst of our abilities. But more importantly, if that faction had a signature drink,
Mhm.
what would that drink be?
Mhm.
So tonight we are going to discuss a faction that is very important to Caitlin. She's a big fan. She's a big fan. We are going to go ahead and kick this off with the big numero uno.
Oh shit!
And we are going to talk about the First Legion.
The dirty fucking dangles.
The dirty fucking dangles, boys. We are going to talk about the Dark Angels. I know we've talked about the Lion and we've talked about Cypher. We've talked about some other characters. We're going to talk about the chapter / Legion as a whole. But Caitlyn, being the Dark Angels player,
Yes.
went and she decided what their signature drink was going to be. So go ahead, Caitlyn. What is this drink called?
This drink is called The Last Word. So Jazz and I were talking this morning about this, and he was like, I feel like the Dark Angels would be like an old fashioned. And I was like,
I said that they would be a scotch and soda.
yeah. But you also said old fashioned too.
Or kind of an old fashioned. But I said scotch and soda.
Yeah.
And my argument for the scotch and soda thing was, well, like, it looks kind of bubbly and whatever. And it's like, but it's really just fire and hate that's in that glass. Like, it's still scotch.
Yeah.
Like, it's still.
But I feel like that didn't really like encompass the Dark Angels and like what they're about entirely. So I did some Googlings. And I did some thinkings. And I was like, what place in the United States has so much pride in their city or state that they absolutely shouldn't because it's a complete shit show? So I picked Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, dang.
In all fairness, Caliban is kind of the Detroit of space. Like, it is.
Oh my god.
It is a shit show, but they have so much pride for their city. It is ridiculous. So what we were drinking is called The Last Word. It was a big drink. I think it started at the Detroit Athletic Club. And then that completely shut down and the drink was almost lost to history. Similar to the Dark Angels. But a Cypher in Seattle picked it back up. And it had this resurgence. So what this is, it's equal parts gin, chartreuse, lime juice. You shake it all up, and then it's a Luxardo cherry.
So, anyways, so it is quite good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is.
All right,
it's
you want to
pretty
know what
good.
I think it tastes like?
What do you think it tastes like?
I think it tastes like lemon lime Gatorade. It is extremely recognizable taste, and that is exactly what it is.
Hate it.
You know what I think it tastes like? Squirt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dang
But not like
it.
bubbly like Squirt.
Yeah, like flat squirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Sploosh.
Hot.
No, Oz. No.
Yeah.
Don't you bring that in here.
Don't you ever say that again.
Don't you bring that in here.
And it also turns the drink green.
It does turn it green.
because of the chartreuse. But we're supposed
Um,
to use like green chartreuse, but there's only like this is technically yellow chartreuse.
Which is, I guess, same thing, but slightly sweeter.
Yeah, it's a little bit sweeter.
And then the gin that we picked is actually a Texas gin. So this is from Still Austin.
Up in Austin.
Nice.
Up in Austin.
Up in Dallas.
This is
actually
their
in Manor, Texas.
yeah. This is
Manor?
this is just their American gin, so it's not like their British style or anything like that. So it's American
That's
gin.
really good.
It's not bad, and I don't like gin.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we're not drinking it straight, so
I think it's also, I don't mind it because I can't taste it. Because between
It's deceivingly sweet.
so the way you make it is quite literally you take a shaker, put ice in it.
Yep.
And then it's 3/4 of an ounce of gin, 3/4 of an ounce of chartreuse, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Shake the shit out of it. Strain it into a glass. Add a cherry.
so
the best
easy.
things come in 3/4.
I put ice in mine because it wasn't cold enough. It says you're supposed to put it in like one of those chilled.
Glass, fancy glasses.
Almost like a cocktail
martini?
martini.
It's like a stemmed cocktail glass
yeah.
or whatever.
Little
Which
shorties.
also feels very Dark Angel. It's very like this is a very traditional
Oh,
drink,
no,
but we
the-
drink it from
the
this
images.
particular
The images.
glass because tradition says so.
I can see their like bar, and it's just the wings with a martini instead of the sword.
Yeah, it's exactly what it would be. So because the Dark Angels are they're steeped in tradition. It's
Ugh,
this
so
whole
much.
like everything has a reason. Everything has a because Brother Kyle did it. fucking 4,000 years ago when we were just a Night Order and da 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 da. And it's like, okay, well, it's been 14,000 years. Maybe we don't care about what Bob did once.
Heresy.
Back when Ford Motor Company was in Detroit.
They did.
I'm telling you, the parallels are uncanny. I'm gonna make so many people mad.
Look at an impressive amount of
Ford Motor Company is still in Detroit.
I just want a T-shirt that says Caliban is Space Detroit.
I love it.
Well, because when the Imperium shows up, they actually just turn Caliban into a giant manufactory.
Yeah.
Like they just make shit there. Like strip mined everything out, destroyed
Stripped
everything.
all the forests out.
And then when there wasn't profit to be made, they were like, fuck it. And then it got infested and they blew it up.
Well, they didn't blow it up. Abaddon blew it up. Didn't he?
No.
I thought Abaddon blew it up.
No, it just kind of cracked because it got infested with space herpes.
Space herpes. Bugs.
Maybe. No, so it turns out. So anyways, Dark Angels from a planet called Caliban.
Caliban.
Caliban was covered in forests.
Very lush green.
But it's a death world.
Oh. It
Because shocker,
was all carnivorous plants.
somehow all of the Primarchs landed on death worlds. It was
wow,
remarkable
crazy.
how that happened.
So before the Emperor came to Caliban, they already had this deep tradition that they were essentially like Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
And to become a knight, you as a like 12-year-old or younger went out to the forest and just kind of like stood there all night while like all the people that were like knights would like fuck with you and be like, oh, you did such a good job, Oz. You want to come in and have some cake and a nice like warm soup and a blankie and like get some rest? And you'd be like, yeah. And be like, no, you can't be a part of our order. You're too soft.
Yeah. And it wasn't just a night. It was like days on days, and they just left you out there.
Well, I said like a knight, as in like, I'm a knight in shining
yeah.
armor.
So,
I see.
So yeah, and she's right. Caliban was dominated by these different Night Orders, and they kind of protected different territories.
From the beasts of the forest.
And it was very, very King Arthur. It's very, you know,
And I can see that. I can see that.
So, and it's the whole like you belong to this order. You have to learn the mysteries of the order, and da da da. A lot of spirals.
Walking in circles.
A lot of deep thinking.
Contemplating.
Yeah. A lot of thinking deeply. It's a lot of communing with small people. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very British.
It's very British. It's very Detroit.
No, it's all spiraling down. I can see it, dude.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. You only know if we go deeper.
Too good.
Yeah. You can't go past 8 miles. Like it's
I hate it.
yeah. Every Thursday night with spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna let you get away with this.
But yeah, and then they'd send you out to like fight beasts and stuff, and you had sweaty palms and the whole 9 yards. Like I've got a million of them.
Yeah.
Like I can just yeah.
Well, a lot
So
of
you're out there, your knees are weak.
I think
Arms are heavy.
Arms are heavy, dude. Like it's just
I think
Vomit on his
too-
armor already.
Oh my God! Stop. Jesus. Ugh. I think to like show that you were a man too, you had to go on your own quest.
yeah.
Like
so,
you didn't have to do a quest, but like, to show you were like the most badass, you're like, I'm gonna go on a
cool
quest
guy.
and
Yeah.
kill this beast specifically.
yeah.
Specifically.
So it's very old school. And then so that's where their Primarch lands, Lionel Johnson.
As a child.
So I guess you could also call him the Detroit Lion.
I'm telling you. You're so welcome. Everyone
Oz
that's
is so mad right now.
well, everyone that's listening that was already
I'm
mad,
just
they're
mad
like,
I didn't realize that off the break, dude. Like I should have put that together.
Yeah.
So much sooner.
big brain over here.
Swollen
Big
noggin.
brain. It's my master's degree at hard at work.
Yeah.
So he lands there, and he's raised by this dude named Luther, who is the original leader of the Night Order that the Lion joins. Of course, he's a Primarch, so he just like flexes on bitches, and is just like, I'm better
Johnny Bravo.
than you at everything, because he's superhuman. So then, it instills all this tradition, and they're hyper proud of the whole Caliban thing. Then the heresy happens,
Yep.
and the Lion.
Well, no, I think you're going too far.
Oh,
You're going
correct.
too
Then.
far.
Go ahead.
Pump the brakes.
So if we want to keep talking about Caliban and all the other night orders, essentially. So the lion landed on Caliban as a child, and he lived in the forest. And when Luther found him, he was like a feral kid. With like sticks in his hair, and he's like, "Wah." Luther even says in the book, like, I should have killed him right there, but I didn't. And he has like this weird jealousy complex with Lionel in the books. But anyway, so they go out to destroy all of the beasts in the forest. And so upon doing this, they then start a fight, like a civil war, with another night faction, and they're like, "You're not keeping the beast at bay. We're gonna kill you." And they kill him, and they find this library of like knowledge, and that they've been keeping a menagerie of these beasts and like protecting them from the Lionel Johnson. And then the heresy happens.
And then the Emperor shows up, and they're like, "Hey, by the way, you're my kid, and we're gonna turn all your knights into Space Marines."
And he's like, "Cool, Dad."
"Yeah, fucking rock on. I mean, I get more stuff."
The easiest one to sway. He was just like, "I don't have to fight." Like, well, because Lehman Russ like fights the Emperor and drinks him out of the table and eats everything. And with Lionel Johnson,
Sounds
he was
about
like,
right.
"Hey, Daddy."
Yeah,
Oh,
straight up. He's like,
Let's go
"I'll even give you, I'll even give you a little
Imperium."
circlet. You
He's
can,
like, I
Oh.
love
you can be my little prince.
That's what I've always wanted.
pretty little prince.
You can be my
All
little
these
prince."
beasts never gave me the satisfaction of what
He didn't even question it. Lionel didn't question. He was like,
Cool.
"Yep, that makes sense."
Yep.
Mhm.
And so, so he doesn't even dodge that responsibility.
Hey,
I can,
General
That's
Motors.
so,
You're gonna have me coming up with this shit.
so now he's got a ship called the Rock, not to be confused with Plymouth.
His ship's not called the Rock. It was called the Invincible Reason.
Maui? Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah. The Dark Angels are very much on the Rock. No, they call it something in the book.
One of his cruisers is called the Invincible Reason.
That's the book. That's the one he's on in the entire book.
Right. The joke I was making though
Oh.
is that he's on a ship now called the Rock,
Oh yes.
not to be confused with Plymouth, which is part of the big three automakers. There you go. We got there.
Big brain.
Big brain. Big brain. So anyways, so he's supposed to be, this master tactician and all this kind of stuff. And then the big fight breaks out.
The big fight.
And he's supposed to take his whole legion to Terra to help fight with the siege. He goes, "Nah, I think I'm going to go play Ring Around the Rosie with one of my brothers." And he just sends like a company, which doesn't sit well.
As it does.
The Dark Angels 2 end up with a fracture. Because when the lion essentially abandons Caliban,
He never goes back.
he never goes back, and he leaves Luther behind with, I think, like 50 of the original knights, and is like, "You just get to train the new ones and then send them to me. But we're never going to call you off of the planet.
Oh.
Like,
They
we're
were
just going to
also
leave you there."
sending like arms and ammunition and stuff.
And then
'cause
they were overseeing like all the manufacturing for like bullets and so to feed them. So they were just like having to send like TPS reports to the
It was a war
lion,
machine,
and then
basically.
didn't get to go fight. And these were supposed to be like the original bros, and he just like left them all there.
And then they had this
And then-
weird falling out.
So this big falling out, and
I was gonna say with the Astra Militarum that was there. No, AdMech. Dark Mechanicum.
well, that's Dark Mechanicum, but that has more to do with the heresy. We'll get into that later. So there's this fracture that happens.
Yeah.
Where the original Calibanite Dark Angels, the ones that are like, it should have been Caliban first and then the Imperium.
Yeah.
Not
you abandoned Caliban.
you abandoned Caliban, the planet that raised you. Now it's going to fall to chaos because we were holding it at bay, and now you've abandoned us here. They've destroyed the forests. They've destroyed our planet, and you're for it. So you're a traitor, not in the idea that you're a traitor because of chaos, like you joined the Chaos Legions, but you betrayed Caliban.
Yeah.
And so you end up with this fracture of Dark Angels that are Space Marines and stuff, and kind of give the finger to the Lion. And because they won't follow the Lion, they in turn won't follow the Imperium. They don't go to Chaos. They're just not loyal to the Lion.
Yeah.
The Fallen.
Yeah.
And so, and these guys are known as the Fallen.
Yeah.
Which are not recognized by the Imperium at all. Like, there's no record anywhere that, like, yeah, he lost like a huge chunk of his legion.
But they just don't exist.
And they're just like, so now these guys are just like off in space and they're like warlords and they're protecting planets in their sector. And they're still, because Caliban's gone now.
Yeah.
It gets destroyed, which is also why their armor changes color. So the original Dark Angels are actually black. And then when Caliban gets lost, they go back and repaint their armor green. And so it's called Caliban Green. And they did it to remember the forests of Caliban because it was this giant green planet.
Steeped in tradition.
And yeah, it's more of the whole like, because of what was.
Homage to home planet.
Yeah. So, but they're very moody.
Angry boys.
Yeah, no, they're just like sullen. And like,
I did
they walk around with like
hear about the, like,
hooded
quiet.
surpluses and stuff. Like they're always like,
Yeah, what I read too is and they like during all the big meetings, whatever, with the table, they're always the more quiet ones at the table, and they just kind of, I'm here because I have to be, or
yeah. It's almost that like almost religious order kind of thing. So like all the night houses and the traditions that they carry on are all of the whole like you have to fight long enough to gain the wisdom to get the next level of knowledge, and then once you have that and you know how to use that knowledge,
Scientology.
then you fight some more and then you get a next level of knowledge. And it's this very much like you gotta
don't they have
there's
like
always
a
somebody
circle
above you.
in the circle?
Yeah, there's the inner circle.
Yeah, the inner circle, and you get like introduced, but you're still like kind of like you're the new guy.
Yeah, you're inside the out.
White.
Like it's weird.
Yeah.
And it's
Those
and
are Luther's BFF. Not Luther, Lion's BFFs. Is the
and
actual
so and it's this whole like, well,
martinis.
why don't we just tell everybody the secrets? It's like, well, they wouldn't know what to do with them if they did have.
Yeah.
You need the fundamentals before you can.
Don't they hold back like the whole thing that happened with the heresy?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
that's nowhere in the records. This
All
fracture
the dudes there,
are
nobody
just like,
knows.
Nobody knows where they went.
They're gone.
Yeah, and so the Imperium won't admit they exist because it'd be scary, and it'd be like, hey, there's a whole group of these
legion.
super soldiers.
Yeah.
We don't know where the fuck they are.
Mhm.
Like they're just out. We know they're not with the bad guys,
Yeah.
but they're not with us either.
Yeah.
Like they're just out there. But there's a tear between like the rest of the Imperium and where Caliban was.
Mhm.
And a lot of those Space Marines are like stuck on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And so they're protecting planets in there from
From chaos.
Xenos and chaos and whatever. They're doing what Space Marines do, which is they're protecting the people. But they're doing it for kind of their own power too. So a lot of them kind of almost become space pirates
I see.
and like warlords on planets and stuff like that, which is kind of part of the Space Marine programming.
Yeah.
That's the whole like you could send like 3 of them to a planet and they can just kind of take over.
Burn it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're getting like we only need 3. It's
Send
like,
those dudes to take out the
It's a little
Hierophant
different. It's a
and
little
all the
different when they
suits.
just had some like human raiders. Like I think we can do that. Yeah, the giant bio titan. I'm gonna go with maybe we need more than 3 dudes.
3 dudes.
3 dudes and a broken gun. This is awesome. So,
With visible lasers.
yeah, Dark Angels they're interesting, right? Because they're super dope looking. Like all of the art of them is always super cool, and it's very Arthurian. It's very
Yeah.
medieval.
Yeah.
And the models are dope as shit. Like they all have super dope armor, and their banners are all
Yeah.
cool as fuck. And like
The Terminators look dope, dude.
the Terminators look great.
Yeah.
I don't. They just feel so unoriginal to me. I know that sounds awful, but
Nothing in
they're-
Warhammer is original.
They're OG a bit too much, even for me. I play bugs. I'm a filthy bug player. I can't say anything about that. But I think you're right on the like looks of them and stuff like that too. But I can see where you're coming from on the kind of like I don't know how to say it.
it feels like a really cool. You know how there's like the like punk goes pop,
Yeah.
like all that kind of stuff where it's like this is a really cool cover.
Mhm.
It like
Yeah.
it's not original, but it's a good cover. I feel like the Dark Angels are like a hey, what if it was just in space? Like we're
I
not
see
going
what
to
you're
change
saying.
anything.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because like even in the lore on the original ones when they're the knights on Caliban,
Mm-hmm.
They carry a pistol, but it's still like they're all handmade. They take care of it. They polish it. It's a little of reverence, and they all carry swords. Like, so it's still this.
Yeah.
It's all of this whole like I live by my sword. I die by my sword.
Mm-hmm.
I need nothing. It's all about minimalism and like all this stuff. And it's just like so. It's just.
Mm-hmm.
It's just King Arthur and his knights.
Yeah.
But space. It's like an anime version of medieval.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what attracted you to them?
Oh, they looked fucking cool.
That's how we all select our fucking
So I bought the
Fuck
models
yeah,
before I
dude.
even looked into the army, and then I started reading the
Love it.
books. But I think what I like about it is the emotional storytelling of half of the faction feels like they were abandoned and exiled, and the other half, wondering if they're ever going to see them again. But then like they get too busy to worry about things. So like the main characters in the stories of angels ascended and fallen angels back to back is Nemiel and his cousin
Bob.
I always forget his name. Zahariel. Nemiel and Zahariel, which are the main characters of this entire story.
Mm-hmm.
So Zahariel ends up being exiled with Luther. Nemiel ends up being like Lionel Johnson's little pet boy. I don't know. Like he like follows him around like a sad puppy. Like it's really weird.
Squire type.
Well, he's like one of the few that were part of.
He becomes like a chaplain master or something. Like they grow up and like years have passed and they
He
each
becomes a
become
psyker.
something.
Yeah.
Zahariel is a psyker.
The other one's a chaplain,
The other one's chaplain.
which is like, they're like the morale officer. They're
Yeah.
a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
But he's one of the few that's the originals. That was like on that raid of the castle for the opposing knight one. Was raised into the order by the lion and stuff like that. He's one of the few original like Calibanite knights that doesn't get left behind. That like gets to go with the lion and go do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they call the there's also like this weird fracture between like the Calibanite Space Marines and what they call the Terran Space Marines, which are just like
Terran born.
they were just born on Terran. Now you're a part of the Dark Angels Legion kind of thing. But in the books, you have this interesting fracture between the two groups where they feel like they were abandoned and they think they're going to go back at some point, but they're definitely not. And then Nemiel, there's this really cool, like half a chapter where he's kind of like thinking inside of his head about like, oh, I should write my cousin a letter and like let him know what's going on because I haven't seen him in like 50 years. Like, I wonder what he's doing. And then like it literally cuts to like something happens. He has to go fight this thing, and like he never actually gets the opportunity to write his cousin a letter.
Oh damn.
Just then they don't even know if the other one's still alive. Like
Yeah.
they haven't talked to
For
each
all
other
that time,
in
it's like-
years. So I don't know. I think the depth to the story, if you actually sit down and listen to it, emotional and storytelling wise, I think is great.
Yeah, I don't disagree because I've read both of those books and I think they're really good. I feel like the Dark Angels stories, they're really good because they're Dark Angels and they're one of the pet projects, right? So like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Ultramarines, like they always get the
All the fancy.
They
the
get the fancy
love,
stuff.
right? I think it is good story writing. They threw some of their best authors at it. I think it is really good story writing. I think it'd have been more interesting if it wasn't skinned in Dark Angel.
What you think? Skinned in Blood Angels? They're on the planet of Baal?
Ball's fucked. We'll get into that, but
Everyone's planet's fucked.
well, they're death planets.
You're coming from the guy that literally
Caliban's
likes to watch
gone.
every B type movie that has to do with King Arthur and Merlin and everything like that.
I watch them because they're bad.
Yeah, but you like those stories. But I feel like
personal attack, brother. I wouldn't take that.
I feel like it
I've
wasn't.
been wounded.
I feel like it wasn't very King Arthur-y. It was very medieval England feeling. I can give you that, but not really.
Okay,
It has the flavor of it, but it's not really King Arthur and the search for the Holy Grail.
Isn't that what the beast is? The last Calibanite lion? The last Calibanite beast? Isn't that the search for the Holy Grail?
No, because
The thing that will unify the planet by finding this one missing piece?
But
and bringing it under control.
that wasn't even the last beast because they were still a menagerie.
Well, that's somebody stole stuff away. But he went on this quest of we are going to free this planet from terror by getting rid of this mystery and finding this last piece. And I'm going to take this whole order of knights to go after this one missing item. They're even helped by little magical dudes along the way on this mission.
The Watchers in the Dark.
Yeah. Those
Little P-jams.
little jungle jawas.
That's so cute.
Jungle showers.
Except when they talk to you, they don't go, Houdini. They go, I'm going to eat you.
Yeah, they're kind of awful. Like every time they talk, they're just like, by the way, your entire species is a plague. In 10,000 years, you will burn the galaxy to the ground. Jesus.
Every time they show up to Zahariel, he's like, I was so terrified I didn't want to open my eyes because I didn't want to know what they looked like and blah, blah, and I'm sweating and it's awful. I'm about to pass out. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, chill out.
I think at one point in the books, he's like, under their hoods was pure blackness. However, I know if they had let me see their true visage, my mind would not have survived.
Oh,
and it was like, dude, what kind of Cthulhu bullshit are you guys fucking around with out here?
They will all burn.
It's fucking wild. It's like, I'm just looking for a kitty. But yeah, so they're all like, you know, it's all a bunch of really fancy names. They ride horses everywhere.
I don't know. Zahariel was the one that actually killed the last beast anyway.
It's true.
Because it killed his mentor.
No.
And he goes out and he's like, I'm going to do a quest and I'm going to kill that motherfucker. But killing the beast wasn't Lionel Johnson's original plan. That was a way for him to start a fight with the other Night Orders.
Well,
for their order to be the most supreme.
He was doing it as a unification effort. But it was very much we'll be unified if everybody just listens to me.
Yeah, we'll be unified if you think the way I do.
Yeah.
It was an excuse for him to go fight the other Night Orders and essentially kill them and genocide them.
It's because the Lion's a dick.
Because the cipher that they chose, which surprisingly was the one that was part of that Night Order that they completely killed.
Very crusade-y.
Yeah.
And they killed off the entire order. But then one guy got away. He was living in the wilds, whatever. And then Lionel Johnson found him. He was like, you know too much. You've read all these books in this library. You want to be Cypher?
Hey.
So he's the new Cypher.
Yeah, who turns out to actually be
a shipegg,
a traitor.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, he's not. He just doesn't like the Lion, so he does it for Caliban and literally kind of leads the insurrection on Caliban.
Yeah.
Well, Cypher is excommunicado to Caliban with Luther.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't trust his sketchy ass, anyways. Anybody that walks around in a mask all the time, don't trust that person.
Yeah, sus
as fuck. And now, we've already talked about Cypher in a previous episode about him just jumping around space and blah, 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 doing weird shit. Doing weird shit.
Yeah.
Of course, all the Dark Angels kind of do. Look, Space Marines do weird shit. I think it's a coping mechanism.
Because they weren't hugged enough?
I think they were hugged too much.
By what?
I mean, they quite literally.
I mean, they got 19 organs put in them. So, like, it's a
Space Marines. I was thinking Primarchs.
Yeah, that's probably not hugged enough. Space Marines hug too much.
Touched too much.
Too much touch.
Yeah. You look like a viral. Was it viral?
Virile young man.
Virile young man. You want 15 more organs?
Yeah.
I don't think you can fit in here. Oh no, we're gonna expand your rib cage and
everything
your
fits with
spine.
spit and pressure.
We'll make it fit.
Fucking
okay.
You'll learn today.
Coming at you, be like,
you want 3 hearts?
You'll get the holy globulus.
I'd like you to meet Shy Urge and Bad Dragon. Fucking get you.
No.
Yeah, just
lube them up, boys.
Warm them up.
What size armor does he need? Double XL.
Double XL.
What was the name of the techno priest that completely fucked for the Dark Mechanicum stuff?
Huh?
Like actually fucked?
No, he didn't actually fuck it,
Okay.
but he fucked Caliban because he was like trying to get all the warp energy inside of it.
Oh, the dude that was building the
What's
soul
his name?
grinders.
I literally was saying his name earlier today because it was just stuck in my head.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's like the one that captained making all these soul grinders
the
and shit.
techno priest.
Yeah. Techno priest.
Techno priest.
I like techno priest. Yeah.
Techno priest.
That's brother Daft Punk.
Brother Dad. Yes.
Just
Daft
Daft
Punk.
Punk. Tell me that wouldn't be a
can
techno
hear it
priest.
now. Oh,
They wear those little high collars and shit. And
This
those
your technologic. This like whole mechanic of things going on. It's just
making
technologic
space
in the
Marines just
background.
going harder,
I use it,
better,
fix it, crash it,
faster,
change it,
stronger.
navigate it, zoom it, snap it, work it,
harder, better,
Technologic.
faster, stronger.
Technologic.
buy it, use it, break it, fix it, crash it, change it, now upgrade it, charge it,
See?
on it, zoom
Tell
it,
me
press
that's
it,
just the
snap it,
Space
work
Marine
it,
surgery.
erase it. Yeah, exactly.
It has a nice beat to it.
Yeah.
It's Space Marine surgery.
Oh,
He's
these
like,
fucking arms
"Sally,
coming down. We got
Turn my song on. It's also if you
don my ears.
if you heard Oz saying that, it's also at the same rhythm as a heartbeat.
Oh, see, that's it.
Actually, 2 heartbeats.
2 heartbeats.
2 of them.
Add 1 more beat, you got 3. You're good to go.
3 lungs worth of
Well,
breath.
Daft Punk is 2 people.
Mhm.
They create a beat that's worth 2 heartbeats. See, this
Yeah,
is just
see? It's
canonically
all coming
Daft
together.
Punk makes Space Marines.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, you gotta listen to the lyrics.
Around the world.
Around the world, around the world.
You mean Orbit?
Mhm.
Oh, mothership.
Terror.
It's all coming together.
Lucky?
Oh,
Mm.
whole like space arc.
Yeah.
Ice Pirates?
Ice pirates.
That is a glorious film.
Space
If y'all have not watched The Ice Pirates,
The cinematic masterpiece that is Ice Pirates.
1984, The Ice Pirates.
The ice pirates. What was this Passion Storm? Is that what it was?
I brought you that tape. It's Passion Storm.
Passion
Galactic-wide water shortage.
Storm. Yep.
They've got a private thunderstorm in their bedroom.
Hell yeah, they do.
So good.
Well, she said her ship
Contrary to
had
that
water on
description,
it.
it is not a porno. It is
No.
this is a sci-fi movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Guy has a child, goes back in time, doesn't have the child.
it does
He
sound
knows
like
that
one
the
of
child
those
was
weird pornos from the early 2000s that you can get at Blockbuster still.
Yeah.
Like the Pirates of the Caribbean one.
coming. Ice pirates.
Ice Pirates. This
Ice
is that's the-
Featuring
that's the original.
Passion Storm.
Had to be cold first before it could get hot.
Day bow bow.
Movie's so good. So good.
We went from Dark Angels to
Ice Pirates.
Full dedication to the Ice Pirates.
Welcome to the show. So Dark Angel stuff. What are the bullet points? What did you learn tonight, Oz?
Got there?
Oh yeah, we got to cover the 3 wings.
The 3 Ps.
So you have
Platypus, pistachio, penchant.
the 3
3 Ps.
Ps.
It's price, price, and price.
So modern Jesus Christ. modern Dark Angels belong in divisions. So they have Raven Wing, which are the guys that like to go fast.
Batman.
Very fast.
You have the Death Wing, which is like 90% of the chapter.
Mhm.
If you go look in the rules at what can be part of the Death Wing, it's like not
Bingo,
bikes,
boys.
not flying things.
Not tanks.
Everything else can be in the fucking team. It's just
You
like,
want a bunch of Terminators or Death
how do you
Wing?
know if it's Death Wing? It's
There's a wing on it.
colored. Like,
Oh.
so if it's Raven Wing, it's black colored. If it's Death Wing, it's bone colored.
If it's
And then
Dark
the third wing
Angels,
is
it's green. Shit Dynasty.
yeah, are the dudes that wear green. Most of that army canonically doesn't actually wear Calibanite green. So most of the people that are actually wearing green don't belong to Deathwing or Ravenwing, and they're just Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Uh,
TM.
and that's where you get. Well, that's where you run into like, it's all the leadership people. Like it's just like who's in charge.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. I read before that like,
What?
Raven Wing does like scouting question mark.
Yeah, a
And
little
then
bit.
Deathwing
It's
comes
the,
in to like do the thing.
Yeah, they're a lot of the like vanguard, like forward attack kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's where you'll find like the assault bikes, the sniper squads,
Yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. So they do a lot of the whole like fast attack, fast insertion kind of vanguard
Yeah.
stuff. And then the Deathwing, which is literally the bulk of the army,
Mhm.
who paint everything bone colored instead of green. They roll in and do stuff. And then the guys that actually wear green stand on a hill, I guess, and go like
Hey, that's
Pew
pretty cool.
pew.
plant their sword and stare off into the middle
Yeah,
distance.
Stalwart. And
then you have the knights.
Rain coming down.
Yeah, but the
Oh, are they Deathwing?
the
knights?
Night Terminators or whatever are Deathwing.
Yeah, they are. The Deathwing Knight.
Well, because if you wear Terminator armor, you're Deathwing. Like that's just
Mm.
I would,
yeah, it's Terminators, veterans, all of the tac squads.
Chaplains.
Well, chaplains wear black, but that's not because they're Ravenwing or because they're anything. It's just be chaplains wear black. Well, like chaplains wear black and apothecaries wear white, regardless of the chapter.
Biologists.
Yeah,
Oh,
all
nice.
librarians are supposed to wear blue.
Oh. Maybe that does-
I don't ever do that when I paint Space Marines. I'm always like, I paint them to look like my chapter, and then I'll like change their helmet color.
I
And I'm like,
That's what I do with my Dark Angels.
I don't paint shit originally. You know that
Yeah.
for damn sure.
My Terminators
Um,
have a black to camo green, like a dark forest green fade, and then their helmets are bone color.
yeah, I think it was a dope way to kind of point out that it was Deathwing. It was like they're still Calibanite green, but then just their helmet changed,
Yeah.
which is actually kind of canon because it's in modern Space Marines. The helmet color, striping, and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
can kind of determine your
'cause you have,
structure and who you answer
dudes
to?
with the red helmets, different like
or the red stripe or any of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But it used to indicate if your helmet was painted, that's because you were under censor. You were being investigated for
Oh,
doing something bad.
sneaky.
But that was essentially you didn't do it the imperial way.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean it wasn't effective. It just wasn't imperial,
I just think
like
it's
by the
just that
imperial
thing.
standard. And so you went under. So the tradition, from what I can tell, the tradition of painting your helmet then essentially, because those guys would like go under investigation and they come out and be like, why the fuck are we looking into you? It looks like you actually just got the fucking job done.
Yeah.
Captain
So they were
Titus.
like, so you, Sergeant, are now Lieutenant because you can get the shit done. So go take these boys and go get the job done.
Yeah.
But they keep that, so that tradition of like the people that think outside the box and can kind of get it done get to paint their helmets.
Yeah. So it's-
Um,
that was dope. We didn't tell you you could do that.
yeah, but it was kind of awesome.
But it was
Arts
pretty
and
cool.
crafts night. All right, you 5 people. We got Chad, we got Kyle, we got Zahiriel, we got Zach, and Theodore. You got arts and crafts tonight.
That has to happen, right? For the sheer amount of decoration that's on
Oh,
Dark
God.
Angel's armor.
I
Like
can
there's
imagine.
so much.
Bro.
you want to get together and throw down a keg and just paint our shit?
Yeah.
Do you think
Bro,
they-
I have this idea for a sick new shield. I think I want to put 17
Hell
sets
yeah.
of bones on the front of it.
outstanding, brother?
You know, I have extra purity seals for my other battles. I'm thinking about adding them
Oh,
to my
all
shoulder
over.
pad to kind of show my dedication.
It's got to be as long as the old CVS.
You know what would be
season.
super dope is underneath those, we should make a full-on plaster banner that just says your
Yes.
name.
Yes.
Outstanding. I want my shield to be as big as the front of a
don't know how
truck.
to
Can you imagine the
spell.
size of a Space Marine's glue gun? It's just
Size of a bolter.
Yeah, that's exactly. Brother, I glued it onto myself. It's never coming off.
Does anybody have another pipe cleaner?
Look at what.
Brother Oz, I've run low on macaroni.
I got green on my white. Hurry.
Tard pin it.
You think they decorate their shit with like vinyl decal, or is it like
Yeah.
stencil
No,
and
I think they
Macaroni.
actually paint it.
oh,
telling you it's macaroni, dude. It's
Yeah.
just they glue it on and then they
Uh-huh.
just put macaroni on there. And
Yeah.
then they just turn their shoulder plate till the
Yeah.
wrist falls off. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, ha
Brother, look at this.
look at the texture.
I won't know.
I don't even think they teach them how to spell, to be honest. It's never really been covered.
I can't believe.
So it's kind of been covered, and we can talk about this because we're talking about Space Marines. It kind of got covered with the introduction of the Primaris Marines, which
Um,
the Rubicon Primaris is the surgery that made Space Marines better.
bigger.
So they're literally
Bigger, better, and more uncut.
they're bigger, they're faster, and they're smarter. Because first gen Space Marines, because they turn them into Space Marines when they're like 12.
Yeah,
They're
very
like
young.
12 or 13 when they throw them into training.
Snatching
And they're like, you're going to spend
children.
the next 5 years not dying.
Yeah.
And if you just don't die,
Yeah, those kids
Yeah.
don't know how to read. They're
then
from
we're gonna
poor
we're gonna
planets.
gut you and replace everything.
But how does so if they can't read,
They can't write. They can't
they
arithmetic.
write, how does
So in the
how does their
stories,
visor work?
so in
Is
the
it just
stories, it
symbols?
literally in the stories it literally talks about it's runes, like rune symbols that pop up, and it's just like, oh, that's Oz's rune.
Huh.
It's just shape recognition.
Yeah.
It's just like that's Brother Oz.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, it doesn't that's why everything is it is not tactically efficient for the ship to chime into your helmet during combat to relay
Discord
information.
call sound.
But they don't. They always fucking chime in and they're like, "Oh, Brother Oz, I know you're in the middle of getting your ass kicked. Just thought you ought to know how the orbital fight is going." And it's like,
yeah.
dude, this could have been a text.
Right,
I need you to
Yeah.
but they don't do that. There's no banner that goes across that says so yeah, it's they have targeting runes and name runes and shit. So it's all
Mission
just
objective update in the top corner.
yeah. So they all
A very
they
angry,
always speak
an
High
angry
Gothic.
face is it's not going well.
It's like, sad
So they
emoji.
speak High Gothic, but they don't.
They can't read or write.
Yeah, they never really cover how well they read.
I like to think that they can't.
I
When
think,
you gonna have time to actually teach them how to read?
well, they have to read the codex.
Yeah.
Or is it read to them by the chaplain?
Oh, that's true. They can be
It's
doing that
read
shit
to
Catholic
them.
Church style, where they're like, "You don't need to know how to read this shit. I'll just
Yeah.
read it to you."
Illuminati Divinitas.
Yeah,
The Dark Angels even have fancy chaplains called the Interrogator chaplains.
Oh.
that's
And those
true.
are the chaplains that say, Space Marine, you have been a bad Space Marine. And they go and punish their own Space Marines.
I'm here to the interrogator chaplain. What is this? I'm here for the holy spanking.
I am wearing my assless chaps.
I'm just coming in and be like, I need you to strip down to just your body glove.
His paddle was made
Brother,
of
just
ceramite.
bedazzling is not authorized.
Who marked your skin?
You spank me with ceramite.
just bring out the imperial belt.
Fucking got purity seals on it. The fucking cherubs come down from the ceiling with this fucking belt.
slow down. And just,
It's a power belt. It's a
did lightning just come off of that?
Would that be the size of a wrestling belt for us?
That sounds like
It
power
it
belt.
looks like a powerlifting belt, but
like
it's
a
just
kidney
but
belt.
you hear it activate. It just and it's just,
Yeah.
oh God.
Brother, I have sinned. Please forgive me.
I am not going to enjoy this.
Forgive me, Daddy. I've been a bad space marine.
The Emperor protects.
the
damn it.
Emperor protects.
Emperor protects.
So
Please not again.
look, if you're running around fucking bedazzling your power armor, you'd be wrong.
Arts and Crafts Night, Friday night at 3:00.
Well, and the ultimate one that comes down and actually does all that is Russ and his dogs. They come in and that's who cleans it up. And if he sent it in, it was probably only for one reason. And why is that, Katelyn?
Because Russ was right.
There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, games, drinks, and hijinks. Go out and find them all. I'm gonna go drink with my friends.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hey. All right, guys.
Arts and Crafts Night.
Until next time, battlepub.com/warhammered podcast, I think, will get you to the merch for the show.
So you just go to BattlePub, hit the featured, go down to the merch
Yep.
button.
Or you can go to battlepub.com and go down to featured merch.
Get
and
your
it'll-
Russ's White jacket.
You can get you can get all of your
I
show
wonder
stuff there.
Anyone's going to come up to the Christmas party in a Russ's White jacket.
Oh,
If they order it now, they can
They
get
could
it in time for the Christmas party.
Good.
Other than that, in the comments, if you listen to this far, in the comments, go in and throw in
Of course they listen this far.
the group. Of course,
I
they
hope
did.
so.
Go in and tell us what group you want us to discuss because I have some ideas, but I would like to know what yours is. Or
Or,
you recommend a cocktail,
ooh, and we'll tell you.
and we'll go like, you know who that
Adapt,
sounds like to
yep.
me? This faction.
All right, cool.
And we'll do it that way. So
Space
either or,
Wolves
you
is
can go one or the
Everclear.
other.
Got
Is
it.
like,
It's fucking,
dude,
it's
Space
just
Wolves,
poison.
Space Wolves is Jack Daniels. That is just like, what is this? It's like, this tastes like
No.
ass and bad decisions.
No.
Like, that's all this
I don't
is.
think so.
No?
So, no.
We'll save that for another time, but I think
Yeah.
you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Hit him with it, Caitlin.
Bye. Ow.
What? What a perfect fucking out.
Hey, that was awesome. Oh.